my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile, Kalandra League 3.19. In this episode, I wanted to do a final video on my Mayhem character, because I actually had gotten it to 95, and it was a pretty cool character, because we could trade, and I had got some stuff, and it was kind of like a budget build, and it was an updated budget build, so I kind of want to go through it, just to do like a final recap of the Mayhem event, and then I also want to talk about how it went and my opinions and my thoughts on the event in general. It was pretty chaos though. It was pretty crazy. Either way, let's get into the video. I can't actually log into the character and I can't migrate it because it's voided, but I can open up the POB, so let's get into that. Alright, let's get into the POB. So yeah, we got 95, Witch, Necromancer. We were a Golem, Carrion Golem in the Mayhem event. I actually got the Golem jewels. I had the Might, the two Harmonies, the Anima Stone, and then I even had the Fortress Covenant and the Quickening Covenant. And yeah, I got to 95. I didn't go to 100 because the Godslayer Pride was already claimed for Trade League by the 6-man, so therefore there was no prize past 95. So I got 95 for the MTX draw. We'll see if I win. Good luck to me. But this build was decent. It was pretty cool. It's like an updated budget build if you think about it, because all it has, like in terms of items, is the clay shapers, which are cheap at league start, and it shows you to prioritize. See, this is why I say this is really cool. It's because it's like what I actually did when at the beginning in an event when I was racing and I tried, and this is what I was able to actually put together. We had an AG, we had a Hungry Loop, everything. Let me go through this. So the priorities I had was the double clay shaper. I had really good golem damage. You can see that the 117, 155, and 112, 160, very close to max. It's hard to get the max, especially when there was less players in the events. But clay shapers, the golem jewels. And then I actually find that the next important thing is these medium clusters. Having Dread March for the extra 20 Fizz damage reduction is massive, and the extra 20 chaos. So let me show you something. On your... Let's do my Carrion for this case. I like to go down here, because the thing that was killing them was Corruptor. I don't know what's going to happen now, technically. This video that I'm making right now, I already know I have to make videos about my Delve event. I have to make videos about the Golem Jewel thing that happened, and I also have to make a video about the Arch Nemesis. But anyways, I was gonna say Corruptor puts corrupted blood on my stuff, and then that was killing them. And so you can see 0.57 is the damage taken, 57% Fizz damage taken. Look at the other one, 17, 17, 60 to chaos because I didn't give them tons of chaos, but it was fine because of the event. It was fine. It wasn't that much chaos. And then the Fizz though was really bad, because especially imagine if he didn't have the 2 Dread Marches. This is just normal tree, so you get the 23 Fizz damage reduction, and so they effectively have 77 damage taken, 77%. So just having these two is 20% more HP against Fizz, including the Fizz dots. So like, I don't know, it's pretty neat. I like it a lot, especially when the monsters and monster mods were so strong and so oppressive, and we needed the defenses. So yeah. Anyways, I'd like to prioritize these 2 Dread Marches for the Fizz damage because you only get 23 through the tree. This helps a lot. And then I could have grabbed some extra chaos, but I wasn't finding them dying to the chaos. Like I said, the chaos mod wasn't that bad, and I wasn't doing stuff with chaos. And you can see their EHP for hits, and then for dots, and that was really good. The main thing I was trying to point out is the Fizz damage reduction, so then I can lead into, I got an Animate Guardian, but I actually think I went for a 21 of my Carrion first. I had a 21-0 Carrion Golem. I even found an Awakened Melee and started leveling it up. I almost got it to 5 for Intimidate. But I prioritized the Carrion Golem 21, put that in my offhand for this build, and I got an Animate Guardian, and I actually what I did is I got an Animate Guardian, leveled it up, and then I put quality on it, and I bought a primary regrading lens from a person who did it from Heist, and then I actually hit Anomalous, so and then I corrupted it, and I hit a 2120. I did a double corruption on it, so easy 2120 and Animate Guardian, and then I put that in the Hungry loop, and then the Hungry loop I used increased AoE, Feeding Frenzy, Mayhem, and Minion life, so I actually have the extra Mayhem, and then we can show my 6 Carrion Golems. Boom! 3.6 million, so it's like the budget build in damage, but then it had some extra survivability, and now I'll go through some of the extra stuff, especially the minion survivability. Okay, so we have the +2 minion helm, and then I had the extra life, and then I hit the implicits with Eater of Worlds and Searing Exarch, and I got Mana Reservation and Fizz Recoup. Okay. Chestplate was kind of bad. Just reses and armor. Lots of armor. And then I got implicits of LE res and max lightning res. Then we have spell suppression, max cold on the implicits on this one. But the glove was life, cold, chaos. Got an extra suffix. This one was also open suffix, and this one was also open suffix, reses. And then the boot was cooldown recovery rate and max fire. And then I actually had gotten a life, chaos res boot, and it had open suffix and it had a veil. I got this from doing my June, and then I veiled the boot. It's a veiled prefix, and I get move speed cannot be chill. I'm like, oh shit, this is a pretty good boot. And then I craft a suffix, which is another veiled mod, which is always funny to me. And then I yo, we're rich, you know, that's a big boot. Then for the Ami, it's like for the boot, I really like the cannot be chilled. I would have liked to do cannot be frozen, but I didn't craft it. And then I was doing cannot be frozen through where did I have it? Did I not have it? What the heck? Yo, I was being frozen. Okay. And then we had Fearsome Force, anointed because it was cheap. I could have anointed Charisma at this point with the gold oils that I had, but that's when I found out the event didn't matter and I was done. So yeah. And then I did a bone ring. This was how I was capping the minion LE res. This is really important. Without this, they would die. So right now, just that ring. 83 with the 2, so they technically have enough, but that is because of Commander of Darkness, and Commander of Darkness is only a radius of 80, so it's not always working because they can be at a radius of 120, 115 before they teleport, so they actually could have 55 resistance, and that max res you have on the tree could be wasted because they might not even have it. So then yeah, I capped them through the ring. Then I don't rely on Commander of Darkness. And then this had some extra minion life, lightning res, open prefix, I crafted mana. Then the Hungry loop. To do the Hungry loop, I leveled the gems in my offhand, and then they were, when they hit 20, instead of leveling them up, I just skipped the level, and then when you put the gem in the ring, you can actually just click the plus and level it up inside the Hungry loop, and it will get consumed. You don't have to level it up fully in the ring, you just have to click that final level. So as long as you remember to skip, and if you over level, if you go level it to 20, you can down level a gem with selling it to a vendor with a scouring orb. So then belt. I had gotten life and chaos res, and I did an Ashling 4. And I actually deleted a suffix and hit strength and dex, because normally you can't get dex on Stygian Vice. Very cool belt. And then I crafted a prefix, mana again. Then we had Ghastly Eye Jewel, life, mana, avoid poison, and taunt. I did taunt in my Ghastly Jewel. That's what I prioritized. I also had some taunt through a Stone Golem, I believe. So the Stone Golem, his slam taunts, but like he has a cooldown on the slam, and I'm not multi-striking, and I only have one, and yeah, it's cool though. So we have the extra chance, and then yeah, my Flasks, I did an instant bleed because I didn't have an answer to bleed other than my guard skill, the bone armor, and then the bleeding also. For Corrupted Blood, I don't think I had a Corrupted Blood Jewel. And I was just pressing the Flask. Yeah. And then, granted, I did use on full, use on full, use on full, use on full with the Instilling Orbs, with the Crafting Bench. And then I had increased Ellie Res, Shock Immune, Evasion, and armor, so you can see the stuff without. Technically, I could have swapped out the evasion for something else. It's still good though, even when you have a little bit of evasion. But and then I get more with the Jade Flask. But yeah, and then that little bit of evasion is like really helpful. Like having none is way worse than having a little bit. Very cool. And then, like I said, I went the extra quickening in the fortress. So the fortress for the extra block for the minions, and the quickening for the extra spell suppression for the minions. And then I put these inside of these jewels so they don't have the radius. So they have no downside. They're just good, decent, and they're pretty nice. They were kind of expensive, but yeah. And then my Ascendancies, I went for the regular Commander of Darkness, the Mindless Aggression, Bone Barrier, and Plague Bringer. I've been liking going Commander of Darkness first because of how then you don't have to build the LE res, and it's kind of like quality of life easier since they're making us more gear reliant. So then we can build the minion items that were being presented more often without feeling like we need to just build items of resistance in the beginning, especially when we're deleting the 30 and then the 30. So this counters one of them. I would normally do this by the third one, and then the LE res would come in for the second Katava. You would get it right before the second Katava. But if you do it before, then it's actually just kind of nice, because this is LE res is one of the things you just need in the beginning. You start with the shit and you have to get up to the 75, and then they're at the same time deleting it and making it harder as you go. I guess it'd be worse if you just had the extra minus 60 right away, so I appreciate the scaling, but yeah. And then I wanted to go through this, I guess. I have Vitality Reservation, Max Minion LE Res, the Minion AoE, the Reduced Crit. So I actually had some Reduced Crit. I didn't have this as Determination Reservation, so we could have had extra Reservation. We did AoE. I did Minion Accuracy. You could see that my Carrion Golem had 5,000. Why do I go for 5k? It's because 3k is like the minimum. You need at least 3k. Okay, that's my recommendation. And then 5k is good, and 7k is the most you should need. If something needs more than 7k, it's probably imbalanced. That's my thoughts. Yeah, based on current game, 7,000 is stupid, and it barely happens, but it does. And so you just accept that one random thing takes a little bit longer because you will be 10 to 20% inaccurate, which, yeah, it's pretty bad, but it's okay. It's not every monster. It's like super rare, and it takes stacking of mods and curses and stuff. Either way, It also might not be a thing without the arch nemesis. We'll see. Like, that's gonna change everything too. But I wanted to, yeah, go through this build and show it all to you. I didn't do Impale support, it was just Carrion Golems. The event went pretty well, it was pretty fun. Like I say, it was mostly just that I didn't have anything to really chase for after 95, after the Godslayer Pride was already taken, so whatever. It was an end to the event, but pretty cool event nonetheless, because like I say, it was kind of like a mini gauntlet. I get the extra mods everywhere. One thing though is that I thought that the mods probably should have been scaling, because those starting areas with those mods, with yeah, it was with the Harpy, with those mods very early, you didn't even have movement skills. It was pretty crazy. Stuff like that. There should have been some scaling or some just guarantee of that not happening in those lower areas. But that's all fine detail after the fact, and it's all good. Overall, though, went well, and I was a phase run setup, had perma phase run, it was really nice. Event went well, though, because Trade League's sick, and I like trading, and hope you guys like this build. It's an updated, honestly, it's like an updated budget build, because we had the old budget build, and then people wanted an update, and this is it. And then showing that I'd get like Awakened Gems, and I'd get Awakened Gem, and or the alt qualities. We'd have way more. There was nobody doing heist in this event, so alt qualities were very rare. There was only one primer grading lens, and I bought it because we had the currency. Yeah. Yeah, pretty crazy. Which I actually, in this event, had like so many. It was actually my farming strat that was the coolest part about this event. I'm gonna quickly talk about that. So this event was level to 100, and so what I did is and it also had league mechanics in every area. So one of the league mechanics that it had, and how many it had, was 10 breaches in every area. And so I was like, oh, the last event, even after having a headhunter and all this crazy gear, I had a mirror, I was literally rich, I could buy anything I wanted. It all came down to XP. I had to get XP, and I had to not die. And then I realized that right now we're in Arch Nemesis with these extra mods, with the random map mods, and they're changing every hour, so you can't consistently farm. And then like it's just pure chaos. So the only way to get consistency was probably 5 ways or breach stones. So I started doing breach, and I was targeting the 10 breach, and I picked all the breach nodes. And then I found out also that you could do lower tier maps and still get rewarded for breach and get full breach stones, and it was really sick. So I was stacking up. I had like 6 or no. I had 9 pure Chayulas and like 14 regular and like 40 of the other breach stones and some other pure pure like Esh and pure tool that I was using harvest to reroll, because I'll show you in game real quick. Like actual game. Kalandra. In game, you can actually do a few things. There's a couple really cool breach things that I was utilizing in this event. So one of them is that these blessings upgrade the breach stone. So I was buying okay, so first one, I buy a breach stone, let's say of this enriched, and then I can upgrade it with a blessing to a pure, and then I can swap a pure with harvest for only 400. Right? And then I picked all the harvest nodes, and I was putting harvest on my tree. And so I was actually making extra pure Chayulas. This actually worked during the event. And might be weighted. It worked in the event. And then yeah, I could do the blessings with the other one, so I could actually farm the breach stones in the end if I had to, like when I was gonna go push. Just in pure Chayulas, if I rotated them, I had like half of 99 done, which was pretty cool. And then I had more pure Chayulas. More Chayulas I was upgrading. I also had all the June nodes, so I was running June, and I was trying to get it that fled in research with doing the mastermind to get 2, and you upgrade the Chayulas to pure. And then if I got during the process shittier it that flood research houses, because while you're getting the mastermind, you could technically run your research and you could have an it that fled, and then maybe it's not 3-starred, so you don't even get a higher tier one. So then when you have these lower tier, you can upgrade them with a blessing, and then you could swap them over with the harvest. So it was a really sick strat where I was just printing pure Chayulas, and I was definitely going to be able to get 100 with the build not really mattering after all, like for surviving. Which surviving, dude, it's so hard. It's so hard to survive consistently against all those modifiers with the random mods and the mods moving. So you had to have just a giant map pool, and like then like imagine campaign, you don't just swap maps. Yeah. But that strat was really cool. So it was just all the breach nodes, because we were getting 10 breaches a map for an entire hour, so I could have just farmed a T11 and it's just 10 breaches, and I'm just open, and then higher chance of Chayula. One of the things I was missing obviously was the sextant to make the breaches into Chayulas, or more often Chayulas, or whatever it is. That would have been insane. But the event, like I said, was going pretty well, and I had found a way to do it, and it was mostly with a similar way to last time, but actually doing it through an SSF viable method of farming my own June, farming my own breach, farming my own everything all the way up, and just making my own farmable. The only thing I'd have to do at the end is run the 6-man of the pure Chayula, with the event not having a goal after 95. There weren't actually many players, so I wondered if I was even going to be able to find a group for the pure Chayulas, but it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. I stopped at 95 anyways, and I just didn't use those. I just kept all the breach stones and voided them. Yeah. The event went pretty well, though. I wanted to go through that strat because it was actually really cool, and breach is still a great XP method, and even the breaches in the maps was pretty good XP while I was farming it. Even at the lower tiers with XP loss, it was just good. Breach stones are just good, breach is just good, and they had changed the damage of the breach stuff so it doesn't kill my stuff. Like, none of my stuff's specifically getting melted by the breach extra. It seems good, so that's nice. Also, in case it was bad before, I'm not aware, but yeah, nice. It's really cool, and the event went pretty well. One thing though, yeah, there wasn't much to go after 95, and that was the end of it for me. Build's pretty cool though, and like I said, this is like an updated budget build, kind of gives you direction what I prioritize. I highly recommend the dread marches, the mediums, they're really important, and it would be the golem jewels and the clay shapers, and then minion survivability, and then scaling up your survivability, and then getting into awakened gems and all the minion levels, and worrying about accuracy and the minion LE res and the chaos res, and there's so many things. It's amazing. Quite fun. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this updated budget build. I hope you enjoyed a final update to the Mayhem event and my progress and how it went with the 95, and my thoughts on the event. And thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, obviously, for much more. I have the Delve one still to go over. That's big. And then we have the new manifestos. So stay tuned. I hope you guys are looking forward to them as much as I am. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the support. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!